Hey crew, how's it going? We are here in Sutter Creek, California. This is where I grew up. We're at my parents' house, and we have had quite a week and a half. We left Seattle on June 10th. That was a fun day. We'll get into more of that. Today is June 20th.
Happy birthday, Mom.
And since we've been here, we have been having a mostly great time. We got to spend a few days with my parents before they took off on a trip they were planning. So we're just staying here without them. But Emerson had a lot of fun with his grandparents. We've also got to spend some time just in and around Sutter Creek, going to a few really great restaurants and spending time down at the actual creek. There's a really quaint little creek that runs through the downtown area. So Emerson replaced beach rocks that he used to love to find with creek rocks. Spent a few evenings over at the creek picking out rocks and just being in nature. It was a lot of fun. So we've really enjoyed ourselves since we've been here. We're gonna get into kind of the journey that's taken us to today, and kind of everything leading up to that over the last few weeks to get ready for our big move.
Yeah, so as Megan mentioned, we left Seattle on the 10th. But prior to that, we had a ton of stuff we had to do. I quit my job. My last day in my career as a construction professional was the 3rd. So then from the 3rd, what? Well, it was May 3rd. Not even June 3rd.
Yeah, you're right.
May 3rd was my last day working. So from May 3rd to June 10th, it was just full work on the motorhome as much as we could to get as much done as possible, get the house organized, and it was a lot. It was a lot of work. So that's what we've been doing. As you've probably noticed, we have not been in that time period publishing renovation videos. It just has been too crazy. And toward the end there, we had to pack our big Mac computer that I was doing all the editing on. So I'm also now having to change from Mac ecosystem to PC, and it's a whole thing. So we are going to get back into it. We're going to publish this video. We're going to continue to publish videos about our ongoing adventures and travels. But in tandem with that, we are going to try and get, I think, some of the final renovation videos also done and published. It probably won't be every single week. Hopefully we get back on that cadence, but appreciate the patience and continued support. Do you want to, maybe let's start with moving sale.
Yeah, so let's see. For the middle of May, we had a huge moving sale. It was actually part of the West Seattle annual garage sale weekend. West Seattle does a huge garage sale for, anyone that lives in the area can participate. It's kind of, you come out and there's just garage sales and yard sales everywhere. So it was really great timing for us to have our moving sale.
Good morning. Today is yard sale day. We are trying to get rid of so much of our stuff. Out canvassing the neighborhood with signs that I think will draw proper attention to a phenomenal yard sale. What do you guys think of these signs, huh? Not bad. Check this out. Here we go. Here's one in place. I think that's kind of cool, right? Who knows? We got a bunch of really brightly colored moving sale signs on the main streets, but now I'm hitting the ancillaries. Try and drive people. It's supposed to be really nice and sunny today, but it's overcast, of course. Oh, wish us luck. Okay. Oh my gosh.
You guys were so tired.
Today was our big moving sale. And it was
the sale of all sales, man.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of knew it would be busy because the West Seattle garage sale day is pretty busy.
Not this busy.
It was really intense.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still processing what just happened.
But Oh, we sold a ton of stuff.
Most of our stuff.
Yeah, and it was just, I mean, really, like, it was a great day. Like, we could not have asked for a better.
It was beautiful.
It was super sunny.
Yeah.
Like, we had music playing the whole day. We were right on the corner. I mean, people have told us, multiple people.
And me and Lola sold ice cream and lemonade.
Yeah, and the kiddos
ice cream and lemonade with the
sold
friend.
a ton of goodies. Yeah, I mean, I heard that there was people like blocks away telling people to come to our place. I mean, we had some rad stuff.
Brett had some cheeky signs that he made.
All kinds of cheeky signs.
People were taking pictures of the signs.
Yeah. And I didn't even put the cool signs out.
Yeah.
Oh, I spit on you.
Did you? I think I might have spit.
But, so we're going to eat some dinner. We got up at 5 a.m. this morning. We were out moving stuff into the yard at 6 a.m. And by 9 a.m. it was...
Oh yeah, no, before 9 a.m. it was popping.
I just always think it's satisfying when, like, you know, to match a thing to a person
It
that's
is
like
very
really pumped
satisfying.
on it.
Yeah.
And people are super excited and supportive of what we're doing.
The journey, yeah.
Yeah, so we handed out a bunch of cards. So if you are now watching and you're a subscriber and we met at the garage sale,
welcome.
Thank
and
you.
we're happy that you're here.
yeah, thank you. We had intention to like take more video this morning of just the signs, like what we put out and the whole thing, but it was just too crazy. It was way too crazy. So I think all we got was a quick time lapse, which you'll see, and that was it.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. I'm gonna have some food. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.
We sold what we felt like was a really large percentage of our stuff. Stuff that we would have kept under normal circumstances, things we used very frequently. And so we were feeling pretty good about all of the things that we sold. I mean, it was a crazy day. We had, 50 plus people in our yard at any given time. It was just
Like, it was too much. It was too much to handle.
Chaos.
It's crazy.
But initially we were feeling really good about the amount of things that we got rid of, thinking that we weren't keeping all that much stuff.
Yeah, so after that, then the house was a complete explosion of like empty boxes and stuff that we didn't end up selling, that we ended up putting on the corner for free. We had just for weeks, our corner was just packed with free stuff that we were putting out every single day. And it all went away to good homes. So that was great. Yeah. But even through all of that, somehow, when we went to U-Haul to pick up the 15-foot moving truck, we saw it and we were like, there's no way all of the stuff that we have left is going to fit in this. So then we had to upsize to a 20-foot U-Haul. It all did fit in there. And we had, frankly, a bunch of room to spare because basically the back half was just a single layer of stuff. It wasn't like packed to the top, but we still had a bunch of stuff that my parents in Southern California were gracious enough to allow us to keep in their attic and their basement. So I spent 3 days driving the U-Haul truck down to Southern California. Stopped to stay with family in Portland at my cousin's house, which was fantastic. Stopped here in Sutter Creek, and then on the third day made it to my parents. It was a very, very long travel day. Saw my Aunt Paula on the way, so it was nice. The time alone in the truck was interesting. I listened to 1.5 books, listened to music. There were a lot of emotions, I think, because I was by myself and able to just really think about everything that had been going on and was about to transpire. So it was kind of an intense drive, all topped off with, on the last day, the serpentine belt on the moving truck exploding. All right, well, it wouldn't be an adventure without a problem, right? Without something going wrong, and it did. That's the moving truck. We lost a serpentine belt. It's loud, and I don't have my mic. Lost the serpentine belt, and because of that, we like instantly overheated because it runs a cooling fan, and lost power steering, basically lost the engine, driving up the Tejon Pass with all of our stuff in the back, and it's 6 o'clock. So that's not ideal, but a mechanic came out, They found a auto parts store about an hour away, well, 30 minutes away, but you know, an hour round trip that actually has one in stock. So I think we're gonna get lucky. So now I've walked down a little bit to find some shade. There's ants crawling all over me because they are also in the shade. And we're gonna just hang out here for an hour and a half, probably. And then we've got a 3-something hour drive the rest of the way. Let you know if anything else exciting happens. So you might be able to see the moving truck behind me. Still waiting for the mobile mechanic to get back here with the serpentine belt. The sun has gone down, which is nice because like I got cooked. I got sunburned. It was blasting out here and there was no shade. But it's gone down, it's nice. Check this out though, it's actually really pretty. If it were quiet and there were trucks blasting by every couple of seconds, it would actually be really nice here. Check this out. I guess there's worse spots to be broken down. So I was just rummaging around trying to see if I had any cash because I want to tip this. I want to tip this mobile mechanic that came out because I also asked him to like give me some water and whatnot. And when I was rummaging around, I found a note from Megan that she put into my backpack, which is like which is like perfect timing. Not that this is really like a big deal or anything crazy. I mean, it's gonna be fine, but this whole journey is it's just a lot, you know? I mean, it's really exciting. And I'm just really thankful to have Megan and Emerson on my side and be doing this with them. And so anyways, I was just sitting here on the side of the road, broken down, and found that note from my beautiful wife, and found a good time. So anyways, okay. Thing just died and I had to pull over and it burnt 6 hours, but we got it fixed and we made it to the house safely. The next day we had 3 guys help unload this stuff for 4 hours. Found a really cool snake. So when we were unloading stuff at my parents' place, we found this California king snake, and we caught a lizard and fed it to him, and look, he's almost got it down, the tail's sticking out. Got it all done. Flew back on Friday, which was the 7th, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then on the 10th we left. So I flew back on Friday. We had Saturday and Sunday to final clean the house, get everything moved into the RV. And then on Monday morning, the 10th, we drove out of Seattle in the Subaru and our RV on our way down to here. Yeah, you'll see what happened when we got ready to leave the house. We have that little clip you can put in here. That's right. You're gonna make me tell him what I did?
Well, it's not just you. It was a team effort. So what's the current situation here, sweetie?
We just locked our RV and car keys in our house,
which we no longer have keys for.
So, slight delay, but the folks that are moving into the house are wonderful, and they're close by, and we gave them a set of keys when we did the walkthrough, and luckily they're home, so they're coming over to give us the keys.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So it's all right. We're eating our breakfast sandwiches.
Thanks, Mike and Deb.
And then we'll get on the road.
Just as we locked up the house and locked our keys inside for the new renters.
Yeah.
Disaster struck.
But we did leave Seattle.
Yes, on the 10th we did. And we made it about 40 miles.
Yeah. Before other problems ensued. Which is so crazy. So, I mean, the crazy thing is that we've been working. So we kind of had this idea back in October. And it's now June. So it's, it's been a long time. We've been working on this diligently for over 6 months. And so the fact that we actually left Seattle, like we did it, like we moved out of our house of 7 years, said goodbye to everybody, which was really, really difficult. And we drove away. And then the brakes locked up. 40 minutes into our journey, one of the brake calipers essentially just like, because it's so rusted, stuck. And it was just stuck and just burning. And then whenever I would hit the brakes, the one that wasn't stuck would apply, but all of the braking force was going on the right caliper, so the steering wheel would jerk to the right, and I'd have to fight it. So that was not great.
Not safe.
We've made it about an hour, and something started happening with the brakes. Oh, get in so it's not so noisy. A while back, I had to kind of hit the brakes, not hard, but we were in traffic. And then all of a sudden, now every time I hit the brakes, the car or the RV pulls hard to the right. So it pulled over, we're making some calls, trying to figure out what's going on. See what Megan has to say. What's the deal? What do you think?
So Casey says he thinks it's like a brake caliper, and that they get rusted from sitting, and then what can happen is that once you start using them, they get stuck because they're just rusty, and so you just maybe need new brake calipers. So they can't see us.
They can't do that, or they just are busy?
No, they're just busy until like the end of next week. I explained the situation to him, and they can't see us. He just said they can sometimes get stuck, and he said it's a pretty common issue with RVs. Is like they sit for a long time, and the calipers get rusted, and then you take them out to drive them, and then your brakes get stuck.
All right. Cool, so we've got some stuff to figure out on day one. We're going to do some more research, figure out what next steps are. We're probably not going to make it to where we are staying tonight. It's like 4 hours away. I guess we need to figure out if it's safe to drive like this or not.
It's a Jayco. It's an E350.
Yeah, E350.
Yeah, it is a driving motorhome. Yeah. It's 27 feet. He just said he has to check and see if they can, based on the length, if they can do it. Come on. No, that's okay.
Yeah, I just checked with the owner of the shop to see so we don't have the actual lift that that we can bring that up on to work on it.
Okay. Is that a total deal breaker? I'm here. Oh. Hey, is that a total deal breaker? Sorry about that.
Yeah, but let me see if I can find a place for you guys.
Okay.
So the third place that we called said that they would see us. It's like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
We're going to drive there now.
Yeah, and we don't have to get on the freeway. So
we don't have to get on the freeway.
that
Okay,
seems
great.
better, right?
Okay.
I'm tired of being on the freeway.
You're already Emerson's already tired of being on the freeway after about 40 minutes. Okay.
For like an hour.
Okay. Wish us luck. We found somewhere that could help us, not same day but next day. And because of that, we found a really cool, our first Harvest Host stay.
Yeah, it was really great. Just probably about 10 minutes from the brake shop where we were taking the RV to get the brakes worked on. We found this great little sweet wine or fruit wine winery, family owned. Cutest little spot. They just let people stay in their parking lot. We called them pretty last minute. I feel like it was like 4:30. And we just kind of explained the situation, asked if it would be okay if we stayed there that night because we could no longer book on the app at that point. And they were just so kind and generous, said they had no one planned to stay there that night, said that they had a water hookup, they had an exterior bathroom. So we get there, she's like, there will be somebody on property, they can open the tasting room for you, because if you're not familiar with Harvest Host, the way that it works is you pay an annual fee to Harvest hosts, but the hosts don't actually get any of that money. The whole idea is that they have a place for you to stay for free, and then you kind of agree to spend around $30 at their establishment in some fashion. So if it's a farm, you buy farm goods. If it's a winery, you might buy some wine. We bought a few small bottles of wine and some of their eggs because they also had some birds on site. So they had some turkeys, they had some ducks, they had some chickens. And so we got to visit with all of those. She let us into the pen. Emerson got to kind of meet all of the little animals and learn their names. They also had baby turkeys, freshly hatched baby turkeys, and she brought one out and showed us. So it was really, really sweet. They were so kind and generous. It was a beautiful property. It was so quiet and nice that night. I mean, it was just idyllic. And so it was the perfect place to be after kind of a very disappointing and frustrating day leaving Seattle and only making it 40 miles.
Right.
We were supposed to make it down into Oregon on that first day and stay with someone through Boondockers Welcome, which is also now part of Harvest Hosts. But everyone that we met through that organization, whether it was at the winery or the host we were supposed to stay with in Oregon, were just so kind to us and so nice about our situation and allowing us to stay or put off our stay in the case of our Oregon host until the next evening. So
yeah, so despite kind of disheartening first day, that place was really cool. And it was, I think, kind of a glimpse at what I'm hoping we'll get a lot more of on this trip, which is good quality time together, meeting cool people and exploring cool places. And so that was cool. It was a great first night away from home, first night in the RV.
Mm-hmm.
The second day, we got the brakes fixed, and they look great. We got new calipers, pads, brake hose on one left side, and new rotors. We are going to have the back brakes looked at when we get to Arizona because they're the same age and likely in the same shape. So we're going to have those looked at as well.
Yeah.
And hope that we can get to Arizona.
I'll also just mention that first night, Monday, we realized that we had left a cabinet full of stuff at the house in Seattle.
Like important things that we knew had been collecting for a while that we knew we wanted to take.
Yeah, it was just a cabinet, like in the bottom cabinet in the kitchen that we had missed. So because
It worked out.
Brett was at the brake shop and we were only 40 miles from Seattle, and we had one of our cars with us to drive to leave at my parents' house. So we had the RV and a separate car. Emerson and I drove back up to Seattle that morning to get the stuff, and thankfully the new tenants left a key outside for us so that we could get in. And it was so interesting. Emerson stayed in the car and I just went into the house, and immediately when I walked in, and this is the next day after we moved out, they were already in there setting up and getting kind of some paint on the walls and stuff. But I don't even know that it was just that, but there was just something about it that felt so different than when we had left the day before. And I already felt like I was in someone else's house. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but it was like the magic that it held from when we lived there was just already gone. Like it was just a house. And probably not to the people moving in there, it was already in the process of becoming their home. But it just caused me to reflect on the fact that that house, which was built in the very, very early 1900s, has seen so many families come and go from that house. And we were just a blip on that radar. But it was such an important chapter for our family. I was pregnant there. We brought our son home to that house. It was the last house our sweet little dog lived in, and where we said goodbye to her. We celebrated so many things, just had some of the brightest and most difficult chapters of our life thus far in that house. And I realized then, in just experiencing that sort of disconnect from the house, that those memories all just live within each of us now and not necessarily in the house itself. So believing that everything happens for a reason, I felt like there was a purpose in having forgotten those things so that I could kind of experience that disconnect from the house and experience it really just as a house and not our home any longer.
Have some closure that you may not have got otherwise.
Yeah. So anyways, that was an interesting experience. So Emerson and I jetted up there, got our stuff, and went back down and met Brett at the brake shop.
Yep. So Megan gets back, the brakes get done, and we set off en route to our second night in Oregon. We stayed with Paul, Boondockers Welcome, which was awesome. He was great. There was somebody else that was booked for that night, and because we were a day late, they let us both stay there. And the other woman that was there in her cool little Sprinter van, would you whack yourself?
A fly literally just dive bombed my
Oh my
face.
gosh. With Paul was really cool.
Yeah, so we were supposed to stay with Paul the night before, and like Brett had mentioned, he was able to accommodate us that second night, even though he normally doesn't have two people staying with him. He was just so incredibly kind and wonderful, and just tried to kind of help us troubleshoot some things the first day when I called him and told him what we were experiencing with the brakes. And he just was so nice. He was standing outside when we pulled up and stayed out there and talked to us. You know, Emerson played with his dog. Just really, really good people. And since then has been in touch to just ask if we got to where we were going okay, and just offered to kind of be support on the road, because they're also RVers and they've been doing it for quite a while. So thank you, Paul. You're such a sweet person, and we appreciate you and your kindness and you welcoming us into your home area.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. The next morning, we went to an expensive but tasty bakery, which is one of my favorite things. And then we set off, and then from there, we made our way down to a campground in
in Mount Shasta area.
Mount Shasta area. That day, the drive was hot. And the engine cover in the motorhome, one of the latches is broken, so it doesn't suck in tight. So hot engine air is like literally being forced directly onto my legs, and we don't have air conditioning. So that was a really intense day.
Yes, we came to discover that we didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know when we left Seattle, because it's just always kind of cold. It has been cold there since we bought the RV, so had no way of knowing or testing if the AC worked.
So that was a really intense day. I literally felt like I was having heat stroke. Like, we parked and I was feeling super anxious and lightheaded, and I was not in a good way. So we get to the campground, we're riding around, we go down to the lake a little bit, and then we come back to move the RV to a shadier spot, and it doesn't start.
So, you know, I'm sure you guys maybe heard that certain RV parks, mainly RV camp spots, don't allow RVs older than a certain year to come into their...
Typically 10 years is like the oldest.
Yeah, because they don't want anybody to get stuck there, have any issues, or, you know, be trying to live there.
Yeah, so that thing, and so then we spent...
just laughing because...
That was so us.
It was the exact thing that happened. Like, this is why they don't let older RVs into...
Yeah. So then we spent basically that entire evening troubleshooting on the phone with Megan's dad, on the phone with our old mobile mechanic, Bill, the car doctor from Seattle, trying to figure out what was going on. A bunch of theories were either validated or not, but Megan's dad, I think rightfully and correctly so, said that it was vapor lock, which on older engines is a thing where, like, if it heats up enough and you stop and the engine's not on for a period of time, like an hour or so, the fuel will vaporize in the carburetor, and then you won't be able to start it. You can't get it flowing again. So it seems like that is what ended up happening, because later that evening, Megan got back and she was actually able to start it when it cooled down. And then the next morning, it fired right up with some stumbling, but it was okay. And we made it then finally down here. And it's been okay since. We've been driving it all over this gosh darn town of Cedar Creek and Jackson. We've probably been to 6 different mechanics. We've called probably 15. It's crazy. we won't, I don't think, get into all the details of that, but you know, we're driving this thing in a real way for the first time, and we're shaking the dust off this thing, and we're finding there's a bunch of issues. We got an oil change, which it needed. We also then at the oil change found out that our front
Ball sockets?
no ball joints
Ball joints.
were shot, and so those need to be replaced. We took it to try and have the AC charged or serviced, but it's a 92, so it has the old R12 AC that nobody will work on because the Freon has been like outlawed, so you can't even get it. So that's a whole thing. We took it to some.
You can't produce more of it.
Well, sure, yeah,
but you
because
can sell it. But it's not outlawed.
if you have it. So we took it to a place. The guy had it for 2 days, but he, I guess, is like a volunteer firefighter or works on fire engines. There's a fire that broke out, so he got called away and couldn't help us. So it has been quite the thing. Needless to say, we've procured, or we need to pick up today or tomorrow, the ball joints for the front. We're going to take them to Arizona with us and have them replaced there. I think we're going to have our AC converted to a new modern system when we're there. We need to have the transmission serviced because there's a coolant line leak. Bunch of stuff. In the background, we finished painting the outside. It looks
so cool. You
it
guys.
looks dope now.
Yeah.
It looks dope. We got to put on some rubber trim, and then the outside is totally done. It looks super sharp. And we've been doing a ton of other stuff. We're going through all of our stuff, organizing, trying to pack it into the RV. So that's what we've been doing.
We're thankful that my parents aren't here because
We like exploded the living room. Sorry, Meg and
Explosion.
Frank. It'll be nice and clean when we leave.
There won't be any sign of it when you come back, but right now it looks nuts. But
Yeah.
it's been nice to be able to spread out without interrupting other people's lives,
Yeah.
just ours.
So today is Thursday. Today was the day that we were originally planning to leave here this morning and start our 3-day drive to Arizona. But because of all the mechanical issues we've had, it didn't work out. We're also nervous to drive in the heat for various reasons, because we don't have AC, but that's just a comfort thing. But we just don't want to break down in the middle of the desert, 115 degrees. And so we're going to try and drive early next week so that if we do break down, it's not on a weekend when it's hard to find people to help us. So today's Thursday. We're going to leave Sunday morning. We're going to go to Fresno, stay with Aunt Paula. Then from there, we're going to go to Barstow.
Yes. It's not because we think Barstow is cool, but because
That's the only
it's
place.
like really distance-wise, it's a good point between Fresno and Bullhead because
Yep.
we're trying to drive just short spurts each day early in the morning, and take a little bit longer to get there than drive longer
The whole thing.
days into the afternoon heat.
We're almost done, buddy. We're almost done. Emerson's being very patient while we record this video. So, and then from Barstow the next day, then we'll make our way to Arizona where my parents have a house where we are going to set up our domicile, get the cars re-registered, get our new driver's licenses, and do a bunch of other stuff.
Yes, the rest of the renovations, ideally.
Yes, making cabinet doors, everything else. And then we'll probably be there for 2 weeks. And then from there, we actually start the
Finally,
journey.
we start our journey. It seems so crazy. I don't think that this is how we necessarily envisioned things being, but we talked about just how, I mean, we could have stayed in Seattle another week, another 2 weeks, another 2 months, and, you know, it's just, we had to just
Go.
do it.
At some point, we just had to
just
go.
do it, and it wasn't necessarily ideal, but it has worked out. All said and done, like, things have worked out pretty well. We
Yeah.
needed to bring one of our cars here. It was nice to visit with my parents. It was nice to come home to where I grew up. I haven't been here in about 2 years, so that was
Yeah.
nice. Got to see a friend I haven't seen in a couple years as well. So I'd say all said and done, like, it is working out pretty well. we did find a mechanic in Arizona who sounds like they can help us with sort of the remainder of our issues. So we're hopeful that that's the case, and we'll have a little bit of time while we're there to get in with them. And
Yeah.
So
that's it. I think for this episode, that's where we're at. We'll probably do another episode when we get to Arizona. I'm sure we'll have...
hopefully we'll just have fun
Hopefully it'll be
stories
uneventful
from our drive.
Yep.
And nothing
Yeah.
nothing too exciting.
So that's it. We're working on, like I said, getting the editing and videos back out. We're going to get another camera so we can actually start filming in a more real way, because my phone is out of memory. If you are or are not interested in seeing the final renovation videos, please comment in this video, because we want your opinion. If everybody is like over it, then maybe we'll just do them for ourselves. But we did a lot. It came together. The inside and the outside of this thing are pretty fantastic. You all,
Well, I guarantee that everyone wants to see at least the final.
Yeah. We'll for sure do like
tour.
before and after stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
We're
Like,
really happy with how it turned out. The few nights that we've stayed in there, it's been really cozy and comfortable. And we're excited for when it's all organized and everything's final.
Yep.
And there's really not that much stuff left to do.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the first week and a half on the road, so to speak, even though we have been here the whole time.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Good job, Bev. Emerson's been great. Everyone's been great. Everyone's super nice in the world that we've met. A lot of people have helped us out.
We're not going to put that part in.
To all of our friends and family back in Seattle that are watching, we love you guys. We miss you already tremendously, and we appreciate all of your continued support.